we need to be ready for a nuclear Armageddon, because that is what is on the horizon, according to many experts. However, on Thursday, President Biden said that Russian President Putin, his nuclear threats could actually result in Armageddon. Now, he also said that as of right now, the United States is simply looking for an off-ramp for Vladimir Putin. Now, I've said this many times. We know that Vladimir Putin can't just walk away from this attack on Ukraine without looking weak. And now President Biden is saying the exact same thing. He also said, and I quote, "We're trying to figure out what is Putin's off-ramp. Where does he get off? Where does he find a way out? Where does he find himself in a position that he does not only lose face, but lose significant power in Russia?" That's what we've been talking about for the past 6 to 8 months, is he bit off a little more than he can chew. However, he can't just walk away. So his next option is to mobilize 300,000 troops. That was his option. It's not a great option. But President Biden also added, he is not joking when it comes to he's not joking when he talks about potential use of tactical nuclear weapons or biological and chemical weapons, because his military is, you might say, significantly underperforming. I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use tactical nuclear weapons and not end up with Armageddon. That's what President Biden is saying. That's what's scary. When he says, I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use tactical nuclear weapons and not end up with Armageddon. Because everybody believes that's the next step. That Russia cannot, will not, just attack with 300,000 troops. Even if they can get more, even if they can get 1 million troops. The problem is they're getting people that are too young. They're getting men that are too old. And a lot of people, and even a former Russian officer said that if these people go to Ukraine, they will never come back. They will never come back. They will die in Ukraine. Now, just this afternoon, and I thought this was interesting, Ukrainian President Zelensky, he says that Russia is already getting its citizens ready for a nuclear war against the West. Well, that's scary. That is scary. And why would Russia try to go into war against the West, right? And that's not just the United States, that's more countries as well. But the reason why is because we keep on supplying weapons, ammunition, money, right? We keep on doing things to make it easier for Ukraine and make it more difficult for Russia. And that is why the Ukrainian President Zelensky, he's actually calling on NATO for a little bit of help. And when Zelensky was asked how the international community could actually help, Zelensky stated, preemptive attacks. That is what we need. Preemptive strikes. Well, that's troubling. So what does he mean? Well, Zelensky added, and I quote, "We can already see that these people are capable of such atrocities. What does NATO do? Make it impossible for Russia to use nuclear weapons." He went on and added, "But what is more important, I am once again turning to the international community as I did before February 24th to do preventative strikes so that they know what will await them if they use nuclear weapons." So what does this mean? Well, here's the problem. Preventative strikes. If NATO decides to go and attack Russia, first off, NATO isn't technically involved in this, Russia-Ukraine ordeal, but they could be. So to call on NATO and come out and strike Russia first to prevent them from doing any nuclear attacks, that would be a horrible idea, right? But Zelensky went on to say that we can't wait for Russia to strike us first. If we wait for Russian nuclear strikes, this would only further escalate the situation. But at the same time, if NATO strikes Russia first, that would quickly escalate the situation. Which is why Zelensky says, reconsider applying pressure. That's what NATO should do. And reconsider the order in which it is applied. Now, I don't think NATO is going to come out and just strike Russia. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that would be the last resort. I think Russia would have to strike Ukraine. And even if Russia were to do anything to Ukraine, I don't think NATO is going to jump in unless a NATO country feels that let's say the radiation spills over into another country if Ukraine is attacked with a nuclear weapon. Well, here's the problem. Dmitry Peskov, he's the press secretary for Vladimir Putin. He says Zelensky's words were, and I quote, a call to start a world war with unpredictable and horrific consequences. So he is saying this is the call to start a world war. That's not good. That is not good when Zelensky's just pretty much just coming out and talking. But now the press secretary for Vladimir Putin says that his words are a call to start a world war. That's not good. This is not good news. And I've told you guys this before. The issue that we face here is the United States can't jump in yet. We just can't jump in. We know if we jump in, that is going to escalate the situation beyond what anybody's ever imagined, right? The other problem is, and this is, again, I just want to throw this out there. President Biden can't do anything, or he doesn't want to do anything until after the midterm elections. So we may see, and we still have another month. Got until November 8th. We still have another month where we could see President Biden just kind of backpedal, wait until something bigger happens, and then wait until after the midterm elections, and then he may decide to jump in and do something. And I say this because the American people, the voters, they don't want to see President Biden jump into a war that we are technically not a part of. They don't want to see that. And so again, a lot of issues here. But when President Biden says that we could see Armageddon, we got to take that serious. At the same time, when the Ukrainian president is calling for NATO to jump in with preventative strikes to Russia first, again, it's not a good situation. And this is why, SHTF, when what hits the fan, it could happen in 2022. Probably not within the next month, but it could happen very soon. That is why I highly recommend everybody is prepared. You understand that food shortages will happen if this does occur. Prices for oil are going to shoot up no matter what, but it's going to go up even higher if this does happen, right? We need to be prepared. So, as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.